Hey everybody, it's Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I hope you've been enjoying my series so far. We made it to the halfway point. So yesterday you should have seen, if you've been watching, you should have seen day 50. I'm excited. So I decided at the halfway point, in case you're just joining me, I decided to do a 100 days challenge. And what I chose to do it with was Tina's mass makes, because she does 100 weeks. So I decided to take her 100 weeks and do it in 100 days. I've been meaning to do her mass makes for a very long time, and this just seemed like, what the heck, why not? I want to also say thank you to all my new subscribers. Thanks for, finding my channel and coming along for the ride. And I want to thank all my subscribers that have been with me as well. And thank you for sticking on the ride. Okay, so having said all of that, I would like to say that we are then today on day 51 of my 100 days challenge. And we are making journal card bases. So basically what this is, it's not like the tags where you took a piece of paper and I just said, okay, I'm going to cut this in a tag shape and that's the background and I'll use it later. Basically what she's done is she's taken card bases and she has a formula for paper's scraps to stick on them to cover the base, and then you decorate on top of that. It's almost like a Mini-Masterboard. Her formula is 3 pieces. I've got a ton of scraps over here. I also did, I'm going to be honest, I also did some pre-arranging. So these are card bases that already have 3 pieces ready to go on them. We will do them later. I thought maybe we would start with these that I don't have anything to go on. If we get all of these done, and we have a whole ton of time, which I'm doubting because we know how overly ambitious I am. If we get all of this done and we have a whole ton of time left, then we will cut more bases. You can cut bases out of anything. You're making journal cards, so you want it to be a card. But you can cut them out of anything. I've got off to the side over here. This is old scrapbook paper that I will probably never use for anything else. So I cut it up and said, okay, I'm going to make journaling cards out of it. You could also use just cardstock. This is just blank cardstock. If I cover this, then the other side would be journaling surface. You can use greeting cards. You can use playing cards. You can use, anything that gives you a card base, and then you're going to cover it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And basically what we're going to do is, you can see these 2 right here on top. Now, this is also a little bit of a card. So that one's going to be tough. And it might be my thing that turns this kind of upside down, because I wouldn't mind a heavy bottom on a card. I don't know how I feel about a heavy top. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear along here, and then we're going to tear, I want a torn edge. And if I'm going to do a heavy bottom, which I like that idea, I haven't done any of those. Well, actually, I just didn't do any of those when I was making those. See, that looks nice, right? And then you would have something else that would go with it. Just anything else that you could stick in there. The other thing about this is you could stick a neutral in there. So like music paper, book page, could be part of your, I think we might use a piece of this. Okay. A lot of my scraps are scrapbook scraps. I mean, that just happens to be, like Tina's always saying, she's using what she has. What she has is printables. And her printables are gorgeous. If I had them, I'd use them too. I mean, what's not to love? So I'm going to set that off to the side. I have piles here, though, of just scraps. We just used these that you could use on, like, look at this one. I love these. I love this one. Okay, so let's, what do I want to, maybe here. Put that on there like that. I think this would go with it. Maybe. It's kind of dark. I kind of liked this. So like, oh, but that's, okay, well, we'll use this piece then. Will that fit? It won't. This is too dark. I won't put that on that. Oh, don't put it there. We'll put it here, and I'll try not to have that "the" on there. I kind of like that. I mean, there's all kinds of combinations you can do with this. But the formula is basically 3 pieces of paper. This is my last one, and then we'll try and glue some of those down. I wonder if I get these stamps across one of these. That might be kind of fun. And then what could I put with it? Can I use any of this? It might be hard to use this because a lot of the stuff that is up and down like this it makes it sideways. So not so much. Music, print, and then maybe something colorful. What do we want? Maybe green. Maybe... I have under here all kinds of mess. See, I've got mess. There's more papers. What about this? Is that the wrong green? It's kind of the wrong green. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, won't use that. We might end up using this again. That would be a very neutral background for so much color. I'm just going to tear that off and we'll glue it down. Okay, we'll start with this one since this is what we got. And basically what she did was... we're going to be gluing it down like that. I'm probably going to go all the way over to the edge, but not necessarily all the way to the bottom. So basically we're going to go on the edges of the card to make sure that the edges get got. Okay, and then I'm going to cover this as best I can, especially on my torn edge, because I want my torn edge to stick really well. All right. And then I'm thinking what I'm going to do, I think she cut as she went. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is we're going to get as many of them glued as we can, and then we will cut around them. I'm going to let them sit so they can dry. Okay, here's some book page. Pin for my glue and my smoosher. I definitely want to make sure glue gets out to my torn edge. Oh, the other thing you need to do is make sure you're gluing them down in the right order. Okay, well, that's going to have to get a torn edge. I don't want a straight edge in the middle. Okay, so hopefully it fits. If I do like that and then come down like that, yeah, we should be good. Oh, no, we shouldn't. That might be good. Okay, so again, I'm going to go down the edges. This is what she did. She went down the edges, and then you glue on the paper to get your center. And along your... some of that's going to overhang and not be on my... oh, I was making sure I had the wrong edge. Some of that's definitely going to overhang because I was gluing the wrong edge. Okay, so we're going to glue it down like this, and we have to pay close attention to our corner down there and where this overlaps. Now notice I'm not doing any inking to emphasize or anything like that. I'm just kind of gluing down and we're taking what we get. I don't want this to necessarily be the focal point. I just want to have a background. So the ink I feel like would take away from anything you were going to put down on top of this. We're having all kinds of issues right here on the first one. Not the least of which is me putting down too much glue. I should probably use a glue stick, and then I wouldn't have this problem. But, okay, and then I'm going to put this down across here. So for this one, it's going to go... The other thing I can do is go like this. Kind of marking my edges. Okay, we need to get all the way... need to get all the way down. This is why it's going to take me so long just to make these bases. I like this idea of a kind of a formula. Although I will say, once I get this formula, so to speak, I find it hard to then like use more torn paper. Like if I find a focal point and I want torn paper behind it, I find it hard to put then more torn paper back there. Because I mean, that's what the whole thing is. But I don't think it makes it look bad. I just think it's like, I don't know, all in my head, probably. Okay, so we're going to take that one, and we're going to set it off to the side. All right, let's take this one. It's kind of making me wonder if I should try... Should I try glue stick? Oh, let's see how we wanted this on here. Like this, and like that. And then up here like this. Yes? Yes. So this one definitely goes down first. So edges of the card. And then I'm wondering if I couldn't just glue stick the part that's going down. Okay, so I got the edges covered with the wet glue and the glue stick on the rest of it. All right. And this one's going to go here. So all the way up like this. Now if you didn't notice, what I was basically doing was running my finger. Can you see the line it made in the paper? I was running my finger along the edge of the cardstock, my fingernail, and making it like a dent or a mark in the paper. Everything's falling and moving. Okay. So we get the edge where we put the wet glue. And then okay, again, we're gonna do like this, and then we'll do like this. And you can use this to smush the glue on your edge, since you did wet glue there. And then we have another one done. Okay. And like I said, if I decide that whatever I'm doing with this, I don't like the blue on the back, I can always cover that with some other colored paper. Okay. So let's do another one. Wow, this is interesting book page. I'm thinking I should keep some of this. I'm gonna let this dry over here. I didn't realize what I had grabbed. That's all interesting book page. Okay. Put these next to each other. So this was going to be heavy bottom. So we're going to put this one here like this. Gonna go across and over the edge. And then we're going to glue stick this piece. All right. So what is everybody up to? We're trying to get back into the swing of things, right? I feel like the holidays, this part of the year where you're like trying to get back after being off for the holidays or taking your breaks or doing your parties or, you know, whatever. This is like the hardest part of the year, right? Especially for school kids. Because if I'm honest, I feel like this is the part of the year where they go back to school and there's, at least in the States, I don't know what the holiday schedules are like overseas, but in the States, they go back to school after having been on Christmas break and, you know, they had Thanksgiving and they had all these breaks all together. And then they go back to school and, oops, did I do it again? I did it again, guys. Oh, this time it's glue stick though, so we might be able to fix it. So anyway, they go back to school and they have this long string of months where you might get a long weekend. But I mean, they basically came back in September. Had a lot of time, or sorry, a lot of times they come back mid to the end of August. Okay, mid to late August. They have a long weekend in September. They have a long weekend in October. Then they have a long break in November. And then they have Christmas. Sorry guys, my throat's still acting up. So I'm kind of like, I brought a drink down here, but I was having a coughing fit, so I thought I would spare you. I'm going to re-glue this because this is what we pulled up. It's going to have a crease in it now, but I think it'll come out when we glue it down. So I'm going to glue that down. And if I have any issues with anything popping up later, I'll just stick some more glue under it. But that's that. Oh, man, my poor cutting mat. I'm still on the hunt for something better to use as a craft mat than one of these Fiskars cutting mats. Something that still you can cut, something that you can still cut on. But I don't know. I just feel like it's not really made for all the gluing and stuff that we do. What I'd really like is to be able to use my Tim Holtz glass mat without you guys like having an unbearable reflection coming back at you. All right, so all right, that's another one. I feel like the way I do the gluing is very time consuming. We might go back to just the... Okay. I want to at least get these ones done, but there are a lot of them. I'm wondering if I should just get out one of my plastic glue mats and be done with it. Okay. It would also probably be a lot easier if I wasn't trying to guess at where I'm gluing. Okay, so back to what we were not talking about. I think I was talking yesterday on my video about like TV shows and stuff that I'm waiting for to come back and stuff I've been watching. In addition to all the stuff I've been watching, I've also been watching football with my husband because he's a football fan and it's bowl season for both college and professional. So, yeah, there's bowl games on. So we do a lot of football watching. And as a matter of fact, while I'm down here doing this, it's the evening again. And while I'm down here doing this, he's upstairs watching football game. I want to say it's a pro game, a NFL game, a pro game. So overseas, I gotta ask because every year it seems like the teams go over to like the European countries. I think this year they went to Germany twice. They go to London. I think London was the first place they started. Do you guys get excited when the football teams come over, or are you like, it's whatever? I'm just curious. Because over here people run hot and cold with football. I am truly I like watching it, don't get me wrong, but I'm truly a take it or leave it kind of person. I mean, if you told me I wasn't ever going to be able to watch football again, I don't know that I'd be upset about it. I like football and I enjoy watching it, you know, the competition and the sport and all that. But if you told me I wasn't going to be able to see it anymore, I don't think it would, like, I'm not a fanatic. Just say that. So, but I was just curious because I know that every year they talk about the London game and, like I said, I think they went to Germany twice, Munich, or I can't remember where they said they went. And I was just wondering if you guys, enjoy, football or American football, not what the rest of the world calls football. I know we call it football and you play it with your hands, but what do you want? It's kind of like the metric system is much easier to learn than the whatever we call the system of measurement that we use in standard. I think it's metric and standard, but at least that's what we call them over here. But we don't do that either. So I don't know. Okay. I just think some of it's funny. All right, so we're going to put this one down. I have, I do remember mentioning something yesterday about being, like, this video would go up tomorrow, like I'm that caught up with myself. I'm not quite that caught up with myself. This video will go up. So, right now on my computer upstairs is, as I'm filming this video, the video for day 50 is actually uploading. So what you will see tomorrow is, from when I'm filming, what you will see tomorrow is day 50, and then this video is day 51. So I'm about a day away from where you are. So I haven't quite gotten that far ahead, or that far behind. And I'm trying to keep myself to this if I can't get any further out, just because it's some breathing room. But I'd like to have a little more breathing room. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would like it. But yeah, so I've been kind of keeping a steady pace, I think. It's been hard since I've been sick and I've been recovering from whatever this little virus is that I got. It's been making me really tired. So my plan to like get up and start my day earlier, yeah, that's not happening. I keep starting my day late. Like I'll wake up and I'll look at the clock and I'm like, oh. It's very upsetting. I keep putting way too much glue on these edges. I just want them to hold down. I don't want them to lift up or anything. Of course, if you put too much glue on them and you try to rub them, they have a tendency to tear. So there's that. All right, so I don't suppose it really matters what words are up there because, I mean, the top of the card very well may get decorated, so. Anyway, so we're getting ready to do a big reorganization. So we have this really old, you guys know what sleep number beds are, right? Those ones that you can, it's got an air bladder in it, an air mattress or whatever inside the mattress. And it, you pump it up, you pump up the air mattress or deflate the air mattress based on your sleep number. My parents replaced their beds a while back and they had sleep number beds and they gave them to me. And it's a king, but it's hooked up to a dual mattress pump. So what we've been trying to do for the longest time is separate them so they can go in separate bedrooms. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. There's only 2 pieces there. I have 3 pieces there. We'll set this one off to the side. We might have to work on that one in a minute. All right. Anyway. So we kind of, sorry, I'm doing something with these that I haven't done with any of the others. Part of it's going under and part of it's going over. So they're overlapping each other, kind of weird. So I'm just gonna try and get this to stick to itself, to its underside piece first. And then when I glue it on the card, I'll glue them on together. Which might make this one even easier to glue together, if I'm honest. Because all I have to do is decide where I'm putting it and then go like this. So anyway, it has to do with all kinds of stuff. But a sleep number king bed is made up of 2 twin beds, and then they give you a dual pump, and you have a controller that tells the pump either you're blowing up the left mattress or the right mattress, and then you can set your sleep number. And that's how they get away with saying that, you know, you can sleep together in the same bed and have different sleep numbers. Okay, so, which is fine. I mean, that's the way it's intended, and that's the way most people would use it, and that's great. We have been trying to separate it. This is another one where I like the back, but not so much the way the front turned out. So we've been trying to separate it. And what we decided was, because we were going to get totally new beds. But what we decided was, instead of spending all the money on new beds, we decided to buy replacement pumps for the Sleep Number bed. And see if we couldn't get away with, like, just replacing the pumps and separating the beds so that each bed had its own pump. And we haven't done it yet when I'm filming this. The pumps just came. So we have to go through and do a lot of tearing down and moving around and all that sort of thing. But I think it will be good because some of the health issues that have reared their ugly heads sometimes have my husband. He just recently got a CPAP for breathing at night. You know, those silly little machines that you have to wear to give you air. He just recently got one of those. But before he got it, one of the things that helped him sleep was to come downstairs to the living room and sleep in the recliner. Well, the Sleep Number bed has an adjustable base. Oh, guys, I'm getting more book page. Anyway, the Sleep Number bed has an adjustable base. And basically, you can put the feet up, or you can sit it up almost like a hospital bed. You can put yourself into a sort of semi-reclined sitting position. And I've been telling him that it would be good for him if we could split the bed up and put half of it in his room so that he could sleep on it. And when he is feeling like he needs to be in the recliner, all he has to do, he doesn't even have to get out of bed. All you got to do is grab the remote and raise his head. Raise the head of the bed. Now, having said that, like I said, these we got these from my parents when they decided to get new beds for themselves. So I didn't go out and buy a Sleep Number bed. Those things are expensive. And this one is like 25, 30 years old. This one's old. So we're hoping this pump thing works. And then we can just it'll also reduce or increase the amount of space I have in my room because I don't need a king-size bed. I don't know. Is that weird? Are we like the only married couple on the planet that sleeps separately? I would, if somebody told me that we were, I would be like, no, I don't believe you. But I don't know. It's just the way it happened because of our sleep schedules. So, and the way he has found that he needs to sleep and the way I sleep, and it just doesn't work for us to be in the same room. All right, so we have that, and then I'll put this one here. I haven't even looked at how much time this is taking, guys. I mean, I've been talking about absolute nonsense, but anyway, the other big push to do this was that thing I told you guys I ordered that I wanted to share with you when it comes in. Yeah, I'm going to need more space in my room for it. And I'm kind of looking forward to it because, just as a hint, I'm going to tell you it means that I don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, my boys going to bed or being asleep, or my schedule being different from my son's. Because, like, I'm down here filming in the evening because the evening is the easiest time for me to do it. But he's got to go to bed because he's got to be up for a shift tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to stay down here as late as I would if I had the room to myself all the time. So that's going to change a little bit. Oh, I did 2 with this rose. Oh, wow. This has been a long truck down the gluing path. And I'm not even sure what I want to decorate these with, guys. If I'm honest, I have no idea. Not that. Who's this, I think? So, yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to decorate these with. I will probably get done when he is decided he's going to go to bed. I will probably go upstairs, and what I've been doing is, since I have a day's breath between me and you guys seeing, between me recording and you guys seeing, what I've been doing is coming down here in the evenings, doing all my recording, and then going upstairs and just watching some TV. What I need to do is get in bed earlier, but I tend to stay up and watch the fire since it's cold. We have a wood stove to heat our house because heat pump is horrible for the climate we live in. And once it gets below, I forget what its efficiency rating is. There's a temperature that once it gets below a certain temperature outside, there's just no heat for it to pull out of the air. So, yeah, I mean, a heat pump can only do you but so much. And, so, we use a wood stove. We have a pellet stove in the basement because there's no ventilation in the basement. So if we didn't have a pellet stove in the basement, the boys would freeze. Well, not freeze, but like it gets pretty cold down here when the pellet stove's not going. And it's probably in the 50s. I mean, it's a basement, but it's partially exposed at the back. So it's not a full basement. It's like a half basement. You've seen that where a house is built into a hill, so like the back or the front of the basement is exposed, but the other side is underground. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like that. Oh, okay. We almost made it. I mean, we're gonna make it because I'm gonna do this, but so yeah, so we have supplemental heating. Well, I mean, a wood stove, if you're not throwing wood into it, it will go out. So I will, because my husband and I are on opposite sleep schedules, as we were talking about before. Our sleep schedules are not the same. I'm more of a night owl, and he's more of an early bird. Although since he got his CPAP, he's not quite as early as he used to be, because now he's actually getting sleep. Oops. But he's more of an early bird. And so I'll stay up at night with the stove until, midnight or 1. And then he takes over in the morning. So anyway, so I'll stay up late to keep it going. And then he goes to bed early. And then we're the opposite in the morning. I sleep in the morning and he gets up early. Well, I mean, that's all fine and well. I have a love-hate relationship with my sleep schedule. I like staying up late. But in the same token, part of the reason I like to stay up late is because I feel like I don't get stuff done during the day that I want to get done. And I feel like that's because you're trying to use a certain number of hours in the day, and when you don't sleep, you lose some of when you go to bed late, you lose some of those hours sleeping in. it's a vicious cycle, guys. So, I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out because I don't want to always be on this schedule. I would like to wake up earlier, get stuff done earlier. And usually I can get myself on a halfway decent schedule in the summer. And then it all goes to hell when we start burning on the woods, when we start burning the wood stove in the, during the winter season. So we're gonna have to figure it out because I don't know how many more winters I'm gonna want to do this. All right. So, but I have to say, at least we have shelter and heat. I shouldn't complain. There are plenty out there who are not blessed with either. All right, I think that's supposed to go across the top. So I'm just going to put glue on here like this. This is basically a rectangle. I'm just going to put glue on here like this, and I'll fit my edges to where the glue ends. So we'll just put it on like that, and then we'll cut off anything we don't need. Hopefully that's enough. I think I'm going to put this all the way over. So again, well, actually, I will do the edge. So, what was I saying? See, I keep losing my train of thought. This is what happens when I try to talk and craft. If I can talk about what I'm doing, I'm okay. But as soon as you guys want me to have a conversation while I'm crafting, yeah, it goes right out the window. So, all right. So I'm hoping to be able to get on a better schedule. I'm also hoping that, like I said, once we get all this rearranging done, and I'm still in the midst of decluttering. Remember how I had, like, early on in my channel, if you go back to my, they're on my all the hauls list now. They were decluttering hauls where I was going through my house and getting rid of stuff. Now I'm doing that, but it's not like craft stuff. It's like major things that have been sitting in closets that don't get used, or clothes that don't get worn, or, you know, just trying to get all the excess out of my house. Create more space. Okay, so this is what we have. These are all the ones we did. Get this out of the way. I don't know that I'm going to do any more because... So we're going to cut a couple of these out so you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. And maybe while I'm cutting and looking, I will come up with some thoughts on decorating, and we can decorate one of these. I make no promises. Okay, so there you go. That's your card. I mean, they're almost cute just on their own. But yeah, throwing something on there is a great idea. Could be a portrait of somebody, or I have these old pictures. I always like, this is the Cathedral of St. Basil in St. Basil the Beatified in Moscow. I wonder if it's still a cathedral. This is from that history book. I hauled this book. It's from a history book from, like, it's old. But it's like famous places, famous people, famous photographs from the 1800s and early 1900s, I think. Or throughout history up to the early 1900s. I'd have to get the book out again to look, to see. Ooh, that's really big on there. I don't mind it, though. Maybe we could get some... Maybe I could get, what do you call it? Stamp. Okay. So I have these. I mean, I know there's stamps up there, but I'm wondering if I could add... That's an airmail. I don't like that on there. I don't mind this, though. Okay. All right, something's coming together here. Let's not jinx it. That's very easy for me to do. I'm thinking just not a big piece of this. A little piece right up here in the corner. Like that. And then we put this along the bottom. I don't want to cover up. It's already big on the card, so I don't want to cover up too much of the card. All right, let's get out the hot glue because I think I'm going to use it for some of this. Like, for example, the solid parts of this lace. Oh, I love it when it does that. Just all of a sudden lets go a big squirt. Love it. It's my favorite. At least it's going to be underneath what I'm gluing on top of it. Okay, now I think I'm going to ink this up a little bit because it's kind of grayish. And it is aged to some extent, but it is still very gray. I'm going to round it. I'm going to round it with a little round. Okay, and then we're going to put some brown on it. Oh, it tore. This paper's fragile, guys. I shouldn't be just flipping it like that. Okay. Wrong one. So anyway, wow, my glue feels like it's starting to clog up. So yeah, I'm not only looking forward to it coming just so I have, you know, my space to do, I don't have to worry about anybody else's schedule, so to speak. I'm also looking forward to like sharing it with you because I'm really excited and I can't wait till it gets here. And if you think about it long enough, you'll probably guess what I'm talking about, but still. And I told, oops, luckily that gets cut off. I told my husband, I said, I still want to keep this area down here. This is going to be like my, like if I have to do coffee dyeing or anything like that, like my mixed media area, kind of. That's my thought. Is that I'll be able to do that. Ooh, I wonder if I should. No, I'm just going to put that on there. Try to make it a thin strip, but I don't want it to dry before or cool before I get into it. Okay, I need to cut that off. Right about there. Well, if my scissors would work. There we go. And then I think I'm going to stick, I think I'm going to stick this piece down with hot glue. I think that it'll work better on that trim, because that trim is very, very 3D. So I'm going to put a thick line across the middle and stick it right there, because I want it on the trim. Okay. You know what that needs, don't you? You know what I'm going to say. I know you do. The problem with putting them on journal cards is, of course, when you slide it in a pocket, if it's got too much bulk down in the bottom, it better be a gusseted pocket. But I do think I could put a button at the top. I'm just going to get this little box of buttons that I've got right here and see if there's one here that would go. Maybe even just something like that. No. No. Maybe I shouldn't drop it back in there. Maybe that. Like all this excess. Oh, wait. There's more over here. Oh, that big, great big gray one. See, I like this one this way. Ooh, I actually like that one there. The problem is that's not the way the button goes. It goes that way, but I like this back. It's more interesting somehow. So that's what's going down, and hopefully it feels like it's stuck. Okay, guys. So there you go. So that's, I mean, and she's right. When you do this, because you've got interest peeking out from all the different sides. So that's one decorated. And then I have all of these other ones to cut out. I know I didn't cut a lot out with you guys. I'll cut out one more, and then I'm going to let you go because we spent a lot of time putting the papers together. But this will give you an idea of what they kind of look like when you do this. And, you know, try this formula out for journal card bases, because I feel like even though you want something that goes with the background that you're putting it on, so I'm not going to go, you know, crazy and do like bright purples and oranges on here, but in the same token, it provides a relatively neutral backdrop. So you could put a picture on here and it gives you a starting point, but not an overwhelming one. Does that make sense to anybody but me? And it lets you already have a start. So when you, like when I put that picture of, that black and white picture of the cathedral down, the background helped make it so that because the cathedral by itself was very plain. It was just an old black and white picture. But the background helped add interest. Does that make sense? I know. I feel like I'm just babbling because I'm not getting my point across very well. Okay, and they can go that way. Right? So, yeah. So give this a shot. Just sit down with some scraps and some old scrapbook paper, or it needs to probably be cardstock. But sit down with some stuff that you know you're not going to use, and, you know, put some pieces of scrapbook paper, pieces of book page, pieces of music paper, pieces of, what do you call them? Printables that you have, maybe misprints, you know, anything like that that you can get to tear up and put on these would work. And, you know, just make a ton. This is a great mass make. It's also a great scrap buster, because if you can get scraps out of your scrap box that all go together, or like some of them go together, and you put them together like that, I mean, it's a great scrap buster. So, how many cards did I get glued together? So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we decorated this one 10. So that's pretty good. Now, of course, that had me doing 2 in front of you, I think, and then me already having prepped some. So they do take a little while you tear up your pieces and you look at what you like together. And, you know, it takes a few minutes to get 3 pieces that you want to put on a card together. But once you do, I feel like they turn out really cute. So give this a shot, and I will see you tomorrow for day 52, whatever that brings. And don't forget, my description box has Tina's playlist. So if you are curious or you want to try any of these and you want the master herself to teach you, go on over there to her playlist and pick something and give it a shot. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.